1990 Toyota Camry, the same one I changed the gas tank on. Now we're rebuilding the front end. This is the struts video. I'm right here with a 1990 Camry. I've just changed out the front strut. After changing, I said I should have made a video. The good news is there's one for the other side and there's two for the back. So that is this video. I also just changed tie rod end, rack and pinion, CV shaft on both sides, ball joints on both sides. Now for the strut, it's a piece of cake. There's two nuts here. There's three nuts upstairs. To get these two bolts out, you got to take the caliper off. Easy, two bolts, 14 millimeter. You take out these two bolts here. You pull off this little clip. Then up here you take off these three nuts. Whole thing falls out. You go over to the vise. There are some coil spring compressors you put on both sides. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we do the other side. Right back with the 90 Toyota Camry, and I got to do the passenger side strut. This is the one off the driver's side. That's the one for the back. New nut and brake line holder. A little comparison. The backs are actually a little bit longer than the front. It's got a little metal rod holding the strut in. And this is only my second strut I've ever changed. I've done a lot of shocks in my life, but struts, no. Let's do a time, 432. We'll say we started at 430. Now this time won't be 100% accurate because I've already got the tools laid out from yesterday. I've already got the car jacked up. I've already got the hubcap off. But I do have to keep setting up the camera, so this will be fairly close. So this is a 14 millimeter. And I'll just loosen that last one. And I was going to warn you not to lose one of the nuts when they came off. And what did I do? I dropped one of the nuts when it came off. It's okay, I got it back. So we'll leave those there. Then we got to go down and take the tire off, and then take the strut loose at the bottom, and reset up the camera. 21 to get the lug nuts off. When you jack these babies up, it's important you have a jack stand. And these are 22 millimeter, 2 bolts. Then the strut's ready to come out. And then back here there's a clip that holds the brake line on. Screwdriver takes it right off. And now the strut and spring are out onto the vise. It took about a grand total of 7 minutes to get the strut out. There's a little rubber cap you take off. The strut spring compressors. They clamp on the side, one on each side. Safety pins. That's one on each side. Let me change camera angle so you can see it better. And then you can use a 3/4 or a 19 millimeter. Three-quarter or 19 or even both. A little oil in the threads. And then this is the time consuming part. Halfway there, we're at 444. What's that, 12 minutes? Gotta get the impact wrench in the socket and I'll be right back. The good news is this is that same 22mm that took the bolts out of the bottom of the strut. And you want to use caution with springs. Make sure these pins are locked. That's a lot of stored up pressure. Our pins are locked. I'm going to get rid of this old strut, bring in the new strut. That could become a boat anchor. Now on the new strut, there's a wire holding the strut in. That makes it smaller for shipping. It's a little bit tricky to get off, but not really. When I put the new strut in the vise, I don't want to clamp on this part. I'm going to clamp down here. I'm not going to clamp tighter than I have to clamp it. I don't want to damage it anyway. That feels good. Now there's a dent here and where the spring starts. That's how it lines up. Just like that. And then the strut has two flat spots on it. The cap has two flat spots. We'll line those up. Top back on. There's a new nut in the box. Hang on. The shiny new nut. It's a 19. Use recommended torque specifications. Now all this is done, we'll loosen up the spring compressors. I'll put a little more oil on there. And we'll back them off. I don't have the vise very tight, so I'm holding it up. Now to go reinstall it into the car. We're up to 455. That makes it 23 minutes so far. To reinstall, make sure the brake hose is behind the strut. Three nuts up top are started. I'm going to reinstall the two bolts. I'm not worried about the alignment on the car. This is the neighbor's car and he's got lifetime alignment. He says he'll take it first thing, get it aligned again. We've changed out the whole steering, both struts, the CV shafts, and both ball joints, so it needs an alignment. So now we'll torque down these two nuts to specification and put the brake line on, put the tire back on, put the hubcap back on, get the jack stands out. These two strut bolts will be retorqued after the alignment anyway. And now the brake line holder, it goes on just like this, but there's no way to get the brake line in there unless you want to loosen it and you got to bleed the system. I'm going to go over with the grinder, cut a little notch, put the brake line in, put the clip on. Be right back. So here's the modified brake line holder. 14mm bolt screws in here. Brake line slides in. Find the clip. Clip is in place. Strut is on. Nuts are tight. We got to tighten the top nuts, and then we are done. And then back up top where the party started. This is where the party's going to end. And then the little rubber cap goes back on. So the cap is back on. The time is 5:06. It's 34 minutes. It's not too bad. And now getting it off the jack stand, getting the tires back on, getting the hubcap back on. Yes, those are Nissan hubcaps on a Toyota. And we're at 5:18. So less than an hour to change one. Now the neighbor had called his shop to get a price on what the struts would cost. And they charged by the hour, and they said 2 to 3 hours per strut. We just did it in 30 minutes. And they've got a lift, they got their tools right there. It shouldn't take a shop 2 to 3 hours. That's just my opinion.